loyalty. Our next guest is so well versed with that. We're very pleased to have Akash Valia, Vice President of Strategy Business Development at Farm Easy, join us today. He drives growth initiatives in electronic medical records, omni-channel strategies and partnerships, generating an impressive annual recurring revenue of 100 crores and beyond. So please put your hands together for Akash Valia.
Thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure to see everybody. Lot of energy in the room, and I have to thank Angad. Usually, the time slot after lunch is always very difficult, right? And he's really warmed up the crowd for me. So awesome. Let's come to the topic of the day. I'm going to be talking about the two underdog of growth channels for any startup, right? I think all of us in the room are small and medium-sized business units, which are almost like startups. And today we are going to talk about how we can grow our revenue with some simple hacky solutions. So retention and partnerships are pretty much two of the superpowers any startup has, but they are well hidden within us. Most of us are always focusing on customer acquisition instead of customer retention. But let's talk about the market landscape to begin with, right? So today, only the frugal survive. You need to save costs at a order level, at a marketing spend level. I think most of us have gone through multiple journeys, whether it's lack of funding, whether it's a market scenario change. I don't think the time has changed where it's not growth at all cost anymore. For us, now funding is not a never-ending sort of open tap where there's new money coming every day. I think that's where we need to ask ourselves the question, should we be only looking at customer acquisition, or should we be also looking at customer retention? Can customer retention help me grow? So what are the challenges that some of us face today when building a retention strategy, right? So number one, we always tend to focus on customer acquisition. Almost all of us are naturally hardwired to go out and acquire one more customer instead of looking at the 10 customers that you have already acquired. Number two, we probably don't have enough opportunities to cross-sell or upsell. And I think that's something that we need to change, each of us as a business. Number three, the time span that a consumer gets in terms of an advertorial or an ad set is extremely low. Today's consumer has very low attention time span, right? And there's a huge bombardment of information that happens. So that leaves us just about 5 to 10 seconds to grab somebody's attention. So what are the solutions? How can we solve the retention problem, right? There are three easy, simple hacks. Build a loyalty program, create opportunities to upsell and cross-sell, and track your customer experience. Let's deep dive into each of these. So to begin with, loyalty programs, right? I think most of us will remember from our younger days, where we used to go into a McDonald's or an ice cream parlor where we would get a small card, and every time we would purchase an ice cream or a burger, there would be a tick mark they would put. And on the fifth or the sixth time, we would get a free ice cream. Guys, that was nothing but a loyalty program. We need to now digitize that loyalty program. And there are very simple, easy tools available in the market. I'm sure most of you guys are running product or services companies. Maybe some of you guys are using standard e-commerce websites like tools like Shopify or Unicommerce. There are free plugins out there where you can create a loyalty program and run it. I'm sure some people know of MailChimp. MailChimp has a customer journey tool which you can use to create loyalty programs. And if you don't have any of these tools, don't worry. A simple Excel sheet really solves the loyalty problem. All that you need to do is take an order download, put some points to it, make sure you are communicating these points to the customer, and make sure the customer is coming back to you to make the next purchase. Let's talk about the second opportunity in retention, which is creating more upsell and cross-sell proposals for your customer. Think about it. If you're a product company and if you have a 50 ml product, can you go back and make a 100 ml product so that your customer is now buying a larger product? Or can you sell him something else, which can be a cross-sell, which can be an additional product over and above what he's purchasing. We need to analyze our customers' purchasing power. We need to analyze what their preference is and try to find patterns. This requires some analysis. So if you can analyze, or if you can't, then just get some fresher from college who can and give him an Excel as a tool. And I think that's as simple as how you can crack analysis for customer behavior. Second example I can give you is, let's say you are a SaaS company, right? You don't have a product to sell. Even there you can create some loyalty programs. You can create a tier-based subscription, and depending on the number of days the customer is using your SaaS platform, you can end up giving him points, and then these points can be redeemed to go to the next tier of the subscription, right? Everybody's heard of the freemium model. Try that out with your own business as well. Lastly, tracking customer experience. Again, most of us are founders in the room, right? And we go back, we take pride in picking up the phone and calling the customers, asking them how the product is, or asking him how the service is. But do we end up monitoring this in a data format? Do we analyze this at the end of the day? We need to use, again, simple and free tools like a Google form to give a survey out there, to put a survey out there for the customer to fulfill, and then you can actually analyze that data. I'm sure some of you have heard about the Net Promoter Score. It's a very simple math formula. You can Google it if you want. And it's as simple as making your customer rate you from 1 to 10. And then you can go back and actually call the customers that have rated you maybe a 4 or a 5, and then figure out what went wrong in that particular customer's order or product. Such simple hacky tools to ensure that you are putting data to customer experience is very, very crucial. Don't get me wrong, it's great to call the customer, but it's also important to create some analytics dashboards for yourself to understand your customer better. Let me give some examples. So today I'm going to give you two sets of examples. One of a small business called Secret Alchemist. It's actually my wife's startup. I had to, of course, take it as an example, right? And but the reason I picked this company is largely it's a very small scale business. We have less than 15 team members there. We are doing little over 2 to 3 crores annually. And I think that's where the stage most of us in the audience are in. And the second example I would be giving is, of course, from PharmEasy, which is now working at full scale. It's pretty much an incumbent in the e-pharmacy market, right? So we'll have two examples from two ends of the spectrum, and I think you can find your right fit over there. So let's take the first example. So Secret Alchemist. A year ago, we solved the retention problem in Secret Alchemist. We grew the retention by almost 3x. And how did we go about doing this? Let me give you some bites into it, where we simply looked at all the customers that were purchasing, let's say, product A, and then we would go back, download all the orders from Shopify, put it in an Excel, and then we put a reminder 30 days later where we send a very good looking communication via email or WhatsApp to ensure that the customer is placing a reorder. Refill reminders, to very simply put, right? Sounds very simple, it is, but that's where also it really helps to increase your retention. We went from single digits to higher double-digit figures in terms of retention, and this is something that everybody can apply in their businesses. Now let me give you a more complex example from PharmEasy, right? Larger the company, larger the problems, but so one of the companies that I had in PharmEasy is DocOn, which is a SaaS platform for doctor clinic management. One of the behaviors we were seeing in doctors is they would use it for maybe 30, 35, 40 days and then suddenly drop off. And I'm sure most of you in the audience also have some bit of SaaS business amongst them, and you will resonate with the idea where the consumer uses you for about 10, 15 days and drops off. But here we actually created a more complex model of data with data analytics, and we had a proper analytics team working on it, where we actually made a predictive model where we could predict when a doctor would end up dropping off. We then plugged and played this particular predictive model with our customer calling team, and they would call the customer even before the doctor was thinking of dropping off. And this was done through daily usage data analytics. So I think there is a much more complex way to solve retention, and there's an easier solve depending at the stage that you are in with your company. You need to pick the right fit for what works for you. With that, let's come to the second part of the second superpower that any startup has, right, which is partnerships. I think B2B sales, as it is also called, has lost a lot of touch and glamour in India or let's say globally amongst the startup ecosystem. Why? Because you don't read headlines about somebody cracking a B2B sale. But that's where actually the superpower lies. By B2B sales, you can crack a partnership and it can directly contribute to your bottom line. This will completely change the way you will, you will review your startup. Maybe you are a D2C or a B2C brand, but that doesn't stop you from building your B2B arm of the business, and it really works. I'll be giving some examples in some time. But let's look at the challenges of what it takes to build partnerships. Meeting the right person at the right time. It's very important when you build partnerships that you're meeting a very senior person in the organization to actually ensure that the partnership cracks. This can be a long journey. Second, you need, you should, there are a lot of one-sided partnership business model that end up being made, right? You cannot have a one-sided business model when you're working with somebody else. If you are the one who is only making profit, then I think the model will never sustain. And third, excessive customization. Even if you are a product company or a service company and you have cracked a B2B partnership, do not tend to overly customize the solution for one particular customer. It will lead to multiple iterations, it will lead to exhaustion amongst the operation processes, and I think that's something that we are going to talk about next, of how to solve each of these. So let's look at how to solve the first one, right? So I think this one is the easy one. Everybody who is here is already trying to solve for it. You need to meet people in a targeted manner to crack a particular partnership. Attend events and conferences such as these. Maybe just before you go home, make sure that you know the name and the company the person on your left or the right is working for or is a CXO for, and you will find your next partner even before you get home today, right? So it is as simple as that. Attend regular events and conferences in your industry and make it in a targeted manner. Second, you need to ensure that you are creating win-win business models. One-sided business models probably can start off, but they will die out within the first 3 or 4 months of the business. So you need to ensure that, let's say if you are a service business and you have created a revenue share kind of a model, there is equal revenue share happening for both the parties. Or let's say if you are a product business and you are trying to supply to somebody in bulk, make sure that you have passed on enough discount margin that your customer or your partner can actually make enough money. By doing so, you will ensure that the customer is always coming back, even in the B2B scenario. And lastly, it's important to standardize the solution. Even the emails you send out can be made into a template. You don't need to sit and create unique business models for every partner. You'll exhaust yourself, you'll exhaust your sales team, you'll probably exhaust your operations team as well. So I think that's where you need to standardize the offering that you are giving to your partner. And let me give you some examples around these. Let's take an example of Secret Alchemist. Again, a small company. So Secret Alchemist is into aromatherapy-based, wellness-driven personal care solutions. Right? We have products which are essential oils, a mixture of essential oils and carrier oils. For us, targeting spas became the most prominent thing to do, and that's where it took us 6 months, but we actually were able to close a deal with Urban Company. Today, Secret Alchemist supplies aromatherapy-based facial treatment kits to Urban Company across India and is one of the largest B2B partners that the startup has. And guess what? It's a straight improvement to the bottom line. And I think something as simple as this really helps out. It took minimal effort because all that the founder was doing, she was picking up the phone and calling different people at Urban Company. She was going and meeting them, and that helped crack the solution. We did not require a team to crack this partnership. We did not require some fancy products. It was just the same products that we were already building. So partnerships can be pretty much just around the corner for you. You have to just find the right partner for yourself. And let me give you another example from a larger entity of PharmEasy. Let me give an example of Beto. Beto is a chronic care management platform that helps you manage your disease better. It's a B2C app which allows you to manage, let's say, your diabetes better or your hypertension better. And I think it's a no-brainer. What resonates the most with diabetes or hypertension? I mean, unfortunately, yes, but it's medicine or lab tests. I think that's where tying up with Beto became a no-brainer partnership for PharmEasy. At the end, the consumer would start his journey on the Beto app because he wants to manage his diabetes HbA1c levels, and as part of that journey, he would end up purchasing his medicines, his insulin, or even do the lab tests from PharmEasy. This was pretty much a win-win solution for both B2 and PharmEasy, and I think that's where we saw the best bang for the buck from both the companies. It was not a one-sided strategy. Both the companies were making good use of the entire customer journey and ensuring that the customer is getting a full stack service. Business models such as these really help you improve the larger retention of even a partner. So that brings me towards the close of this presentation, but I would love to leave you with one more example which solves for both retention and it solved for growth in terms of revenue, in terms of partnership. So PharmEasy did a very good partnership with a company called MediBuddy. Now MediBuddy is a corporate healthcare platform that gives healthcare solutions to employees. We not only started to get bulk orders from MediBuddy corporate employees, but because they were employees and employees tend to order from the same platform because the benefits the corporate gives them, we automatically also solve for the retention problem. So go back home, take a piece of paper and try to see, can you identify partners out there that can help you solve both the growth and revenue problem and your retention problem. Put down at least names of about 25 companies that you could potentially partner with. Tomorrow, open LinkedIn and put a message to each of these or just shoot an email to any of these 25 partners that you have identified. And it will take 3 to 4 months. Patience will bear its fruit, and I think ultimately you would have cracked your first partnership. So try this out, it works wonders. At the end of this, I just want to leave with one message that in spite of being in PharmEasy now, which is of course now a full grown startup, the hustle never stops. You need to hustle every day, especially small and medium businesses. When I started my journey in PharmEasy as CEO of DocOn, which was one of the subsidiaries, there was a everyday hustle that we had to do until we were part of the larger ecosystem. So keep hustling and keep smiling. I think that's the best way to grow. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you very much for that, Akash, and what a fantastic presentation this has been. So many meaningful ideas have been shared with us, and we're so grateful for your time. Please stay with us as I invite on stage Mona and Rahul from the Borzo team to present Akash with a memento from Borzo. Mona and Rahul, if I can please have you on the stage, and if we can get the mementos in it as well, please. Can we have someone from the Borzo team please join us on stage? Fantastic inputs around digitizing loyalty, finding the correct partnership, and how it can have an immediate impact on the scale of your business. I think we take two quick questions as well. Akash, stay with us on stage as we take two quick questions. There's one hand that's gone up right there. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll pass it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
If you can get the mic that side, please. Can we get the mics, please?
If you're confident you're loud, then
Yeah,
I don't
then you can
mind.
just
We'll
start
take the
talking.
question.
Come a little bit closer to us.
Yeah, you're audible now. Correct. Fantastic. I think you clearly have a lot of partnerships. So the question is how to manage the changing expectations of a partner, right? I think that's where exactly my point comes in terms of standardizing the solution, where you need to standardize a particular solution. Let's say you are a product company or a service company. If you have a standard solution and if you go with to 10 partners with it, then you can go back and tell the first partner who is asking a lot of customizations that, hey, I need to service another 10 partners for the same thing. It's not possible to continuously keep customizing this, right? And trust me, even at PharmEasy, we face this where various different partners want the home delivery of medicines in different ways, but we have some standard ways with which we enable home delivery of medicine. So I think standardization is largely the answer to this. You can never say no to a customer, but you can say that, okay, I cannot keep all my 10 customers happy. So I hope I've answered that.
Great question and a great answer as well. One more question, please. Yes, sir. Yeah, a mic's reached you now here.
Yes.
Hello, sir. This is Anish, and your presentation was really amazing, and it was really inspiring also. And we also order like products from Farm Easy,
Great.
right, sir? So my question is, sir, considering now the telemedicine market, and we know how important it is for all the people, sir. But in India also there is this issue, sir. People like consume medicines without prescribing the doctor for things, sir. So considering this problem, sir, now I guess this antibiotic resistance has also begun, sir. So then
Right.
how can we ensure that PharmEasy as a company can manage this problem of maybe people harassing antibiotics in a way, sir, or medicines also?
Got it. And it'll help actually. What do you do if you can tell me?
What is it that you
Are
do?
you in the healthcare industry?
No, sir, just as an
Okay, great.
inquisitive
So
also.
I think that just to understand perspective, right? So I think a very straightforward sort of answer to that is, so even today, for example, the biggest things that pharmacy focuses on is regulation. So today regulation says that unless you have a prescription, you cannot order medicines online, right? So that also means that I need to probably say no to a customer or cancel an order, but we already do this beforehand. Even before you place an order, we ask you to upload a prescription. Even if you uh, even if you put the order via a call, we'll ask you to send it across WhatsApp. So we ensure that there is a prescription for every order that we have. Of course, I think in the retail market things are a bit different, but I think overall India we are moving into a more, let's say, prescription-led, prescription-focused medicine purchasing at least. And in terms of, I think your question about antibiotic resistance, I think honestly I have limited knowledge there because we are a service company. Our job is to read a prescription, collect medicines, and deliver them. But I think I'll leave that to the doctors who are experts in this particular, space, antibiotic space, to answer that. But yes, if you have antibiotic requirement, you can order from
So
pharmacy.
there's a safeguard built within the app to ensure that.
Correct.
Thank you very much for taking those questions,
Thanks a
Akash.
lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Akash, please.
Thanks a lot.